Welcome to Healing Through Hair Loss, the podcast where we talk about the roller coaster ride of hair loss and our healing journey. If you or someone you love is dealing with hair loss, please subscribe to this podcast. The goal of this podcast is to be a voice of support to people dealing with hair loss due to alopecia. My name is Cindy, and this is a recording for my Healing Through Hair Loss podcast. In today's episode, I'm going to tell you one of my biggest pet peeves that people have been telling me since I started losing my hair. And it may surprise you, actually, because it's something that friends and family have told me and are still telling me to this day. And it's a comment that I've seen on lots of social media posts over the past couple of weeks, and I just want to address it with as much love as possible, because I do love everyone and I know that everyone has good intentions, but I do want to explain why this particular comment can be very insensitive and hurtful. So, are you ready for it? Just wear a wig. That's the one. That's the comment that drives me the most crazy. And I sit here telling you guys this as I'm wearing a wig. Let me first start by saying I love wigs. Y'all know I love wigs. I've got tons of them. They're fantastic. But I hate the comment, if you're so unhappy with your hair loss, just wear a wig. Let me just break this down, why this particular comment drives me insane. First and foremost, having alopecia, one of the biggest problems with alopecia that is so hard isn't necessarily the hair loss itself. It's the mystery behind what's going on. It's the internal struggle of, why am I bald? Why do I not have any hair? And so wearing a wig is basically just masking the symptoms of alopecia. And I mask my symptoms every day. Well, almost every day. And most times when I go out in public, I wear wigs because I'm masking my symptoms. I mask my symptoms with my lashes, with my brows. It's all just masking the symptoms of the underlying issue of the autoimmune condition of alopecia. So when you tell someone with alopecia, just wear a wig, it's hurtful because yeah, I can just wear a wig, but that doesn't solve the problem of alopecia. The alopecia is still there. It's still there when I go to bed at night and take off my wig and my lashes. It's still there when I wake up in the morning. So that's one reason why it's hurtful and insensitive. Another reason why it's insensitive, and this is a bigger systemic issue, is it comes down to wigs are not cheap. They're not cheap. I mean, I have some of the more affordable wigs and I love them, but not everybody can afford wigs. Plain and simple. And when you have alopecia, the insurance companies classify alopecia as a cosmetic condition. So what this means is that, if you lose your hair because you're going through chemo or something like that, most insurance companies will cover wigs for chemo treatment. But for alopecia, no. So with alopecia, you are looking at a lot of out-of-pocket expenses. If you want to buy wigs, that comes out of your pocket. Insurance companies won't cover it. If you want to seek medical treatment, a lot of the prescription drugs are not covered by insurance because it's considered a cosmetic condition. If you want to go to a dermatologist, a lot of times that's not covered by insurance. And so that is a larger systemic issue with our healthcare industry, is that alopecia is seen as a cosmetic condition, which is absolute BS, because yeah, it's a cosmetic condition in the sense that you lose your hair, but it is an internal issue. It's your immune system. Your immune system is completely out of whack in attacking your hair follicles. And so that is a medical condition, but the insurance don't see it like that. So that's another bigger issue, and why I have a problem with people telling people with alopecia, just wear a wig. Okay, thanks, you fixed me. Another issue that I have with people saying that is because of the bullying that happens to kids that have alopecia. Children that go to school with wigs on are more prone to being bullied. Just recently, I did a podcast about a 12-year-old who was tormented at school, who had her wig torn off of her head multiple times at school. You know, they poked at her bald head. Wearing a wig doesn't solve the issue of bullying. That starts at home. That starts with adults teaching their kids and teaching each other to treat each other with kindness, no matter what your physical or mental differences are. Just treat each other with kindness. And I shared this yesterday. A lot of misinformation is going around about alopecia now. And one of those things is that alopecia is just something that happens to older people. It's just something that, you know, like male pattern baldness, it just happens when you're older. No, not true. Not true at all. There are kids as young as 2 years old that suffer from alopecia. So just be careful when you're online and you're reading comments and hearing what celebrities and talking heads are saying. Just be informed about what is going on with people. And I'll also say that there are varying levels of alopecia. There's alopecia areata, which is just patchy baldness that just starts with like little spots in your head. And then there's alopecia totalis. That's when you lose all the hair on your head. And then there's the more severe alopecia, which is what I have, which is universalis, which means that you lose all your hair everywhere on your body. And it's an interesting thing to live with, because there's things that you don't think about, like functionality of your lashes and your brows, and what goes into getting ready in the mornings. Like last summer, I had my eyebrows done because last summer I would spend lots of time drawing on my eyebrows and getting ready in the morning just to go out in the humidity and have them melt off. And that's not something that you can cover with a wig. It's just not. And that's another thing that you have to think about when you have alopecia, and that's another investment. I mean, it gets expensive having alopecia. It gets expensive. It's ridiculous. Oh, and one more point about the comment of just wear a wig. What about when you go swimming? What about when you go work out? You're supposed to wear a wig then? No, no, no. So the comment, just wear a wig if you're uncomfortable with your autoimmune condition, it doesn't always work out. And it is hurtful and it is insensitive. And I also want you all to know that even if you're not commenting on my post directly, even if you're just commenting on a post about a celebrity, if you're commenting on a post about, well, I don't know why she got so mad about that. She should have just worn a wig. Be mindful of those sort of comments. Because when you are talking publicly on the internet about someone with a medical condition, your friends might have that medical condition. And they might see that comment and they might have their feelings hurt. So, I think that's just a general rule of thumb altogether, is just to be kinder online. I know I'm not perfect at it. I know we get emotional online, but I think it's just a general rule of thumb to just try to be nicer and try to think how your words could affect someone. So I'm just going to leave you all with that. Just try to be nice to each other. Try to put yourself in other people's shoes to see where they're coming from, because you never know what someone is struggling with and what they're masking behind their smile. So treat each other with kindness, and know that if you are going through alopecia or any other autoimmune condition that you're struggling with, that you are beautiful. Wig, no wig, lashes, no lashes, brows, no brows. Just let your inner beauty shine through, and you will make it through this. Thanks for listening to the Healing Through Hair Loss podcast. Be sure to visit healingthroughhairlosspodcast.com to join the conversation, access the show notes, and sign up for our newsletter to get access to fantastic bonus content.